everybody. Welcome back to Sweetwater Place. All right, this is a continuation of the hysterectomy series, and it is the end of week 1, and I kind of wanted to update you on how I was doing and some things that I noticed this week about healing and just some things that maybe I changed during this recovery process. So I wanted to share those things with you. I am in the gym. I promise I am not working out in any way. I just need the lighting. We might hear an airplane go over every now and then, so I apologize for that. So a week ago today, I had a radical hysterectomy. It was a laparoscopic hysterectomy, and my doctor used the Da Vinci machine to do that. It was robotic, and not only did he do that, he removed my my fallopian tubes, my ovaries, my uterus, of course, and my cervix. And also, to my knowledge, he also performed a uteral sacral ligament suspension, which just means that he basically used my own tissues, my own cartilage to attach the vaginal wall and support so that it would help prevent prolapse. So anyway, give it some more support so I won't have problems with that later on. So that all happened, and I've been healing, and it's just been 1 week so far. Okay, so some things that I have noticed after 1 week post-op. Some things I've learned is definitely drink lots and lots of water. I have been doing this. It serves so many purposes. And that is number 1, for healing, for hydration. You really need that water in you to prevent UTIs, right? Because you want to keep things flowing. And at first I was really afraid of getting one because I suffer from interstitial cystitis, which is a bladder condition that it leaves me open to UTIs very, very easily. So that was like my really big concern, is that I was going to walk away with a UTI the first week I was trying to get through this. And I even went home with a catheter because I wasn't able to urinate at the hospital very well. And so that really kind of scared me that that was going to happen, but it didn't. Also, before I get going anymore on here, disclaimer, medical disclaimer, of course, I'm not giving anybody medical advice. I'm just sharing my journey with you because I know if you're like me, you want to hear about other people's journeys and just take it in stride. That doesn't mean that's going to be your experience. That doesn't mean this is what you should do. You should talk to your doctor about your experience and what you should do. But for me, it helped to know what other people were going through and how they handled it. So just so that I could be aware of maybe some possibilities that might happen. I don't know. It just, it helped me. And it just made me feel better to know that I wasn't the only one going through this. So that's why I'm sharing my my journey with you, in case it helps anybody feel better about it. And right off the bat, I want to tell you, it's going to be okay. It is going to be just fine. You're going to get through this, and life is going to be great. All right, my second disclaimer right now is that I'm going to be talking about very, very private things right now because of the area that's affected. Women issues. If you don't want to hear me talk about those private areas, then leave now and we'll see you on another video, not the hysterectomy series. But I'm going to be very open and very honest because when I was looking for these hysterectomy series videos, that's what I wanted. I wanted the raw truth right down to the very last jot and tittle. I wanted to know what people were dealing with. So anyway, here's your chance. Okay, so definitely lots of water helps with preventing the UTIs, healing, hydration, and then also helping your bowels. Now, this is something else that I figured out. I was taking, and I still am, doing a capful of Miralax in I think it's 4 to 6 ounces of diet juice, like, I don't know, one of the cranberry ocean spray juices. They do, the juices are like 5 calories for 8 ounces or something like that. So this is the only way I could take it. Otherwise, it kind of grosses me out. And so you can't taste it and you don't really know it's there, but I know it's there. So it helps for me to mix it with some juice rather than water. And I'll do this twice a day, so in the morning and in the evening. And then what I was doing was I was also having one of these chews per day at the same time. But the Dulcolax, one thing that I have figured out is that Dulcolax works differently than Colace. Colace was recommended to me from one of our amazing viewers, and I wanted to really say thank you for that, because how Colace works is it takes water out of your system to soften your stool and move it through your system. Whereas Dulcolax actually stimulates your bowels, the mucous membrane of your gut, and also the muscles to kind of like move the stool out. And that was actually causing me more gastrointestinal distress during this time and making me more uncomfortable. So I switched it to the Miralax and the Colace. So I take I believe it's 2 of these capsules. I took 2 yesterday and it worked just fine. Now it typically works from 12 to 72 hours, so it just depends on how much you take and how your body reacts to it. And then with Miralax, I mean, it is just, things are going well. I do not want to strain during this time, so that is working well for me. Number 2, rest is best. My doctor just always says rest is best, and I have to tell you, do not feel guilty about it. That's something that I really struggled with this week, is feeling guilty and not participating more and doing more around the house and more of the duties that I normally do. My husband and my kids have been absolutely phenomenal, and I don't know how I would have done this without them. They're everywhere doing everything. Although sometimes it is a little frustrating because it's not, even though they're helping so much, they're not going to be doing things the way that I'm used to doing them. So if somebody's helping you, one thing that you have to do is really accept the new intermittent normal. Things are not going to look like you want them to. Maybe you clean everything and have counters completely cleaned off and light a candle and play soft music when you're done. That's not going to happen if somebody else is doing it. Things are going to be done sometimes minimally. Sometimes, you know, they're going to have to sit. Maybe the dishes are going to wait longer than you're, you know, comfortable with them waiting, but you're just going to need to accept it. Accept the help as it's given, and don't feel bad about it. Don't feel guilty. Just be grateful for it. And that's something that I've been trying to concentrate on this week, because I am very grateful for that. I don't know how I would do this without them. Okay, also, keep your mind busy. Your body really can't do much because you're really forced to just sit back, lay back, sit down. You know what I mean? You really cannot do much at all, and you really should keep your mind busy. So get some books, get some movies, get some crafts, fill out your Christmas cards right now, write a few letters, do some other things. Reading is great. Do, you know, just some other things to keep your mind busy, because that's going to help you emotionally to be healthy. And I really do think that emotional health does affect physical health. So you do want to stay healthy that way. Also, get some vitamin D. Getting vitamin D from the sun will help you boost your immune system and aid your healing. So I try to make it a point of going out at least once or twice a day, sitting out in the sun, or when I do my small 5 to 7 minute walks, trying to get some of that sunshine and get that vitamin D in me. And by the way, when I do those walks, I never thought that 5 to 7 minutes would completely wear me out like it does, but right now it does. And after I'm done, I have to come in and lay down. So that's very important. The small walks will aid your healing as well. All right, the belly band. Let's talk about the belly band. Some people say, yes, you absolutely need it. Other people say, absolutely not. They didn't want to do it. They didn't want to use it because it would irritate their incisions on the outside. Now, with me, I ended up with 3 incisions, 1 on each side and then through my belly button. I still have some glue on my incisions, so maybe that's helping to protect the incision a bit, but I found that the belly band doesn't really bother it too much. So if I keep it against my skin, it really doesn't bother me. But there were a couple of days where I decided to wear the belly band. Looked kind of funny, but I wore it on the outside of my clothes because I didn't want it rubbing against them. And then when I found out that it didn't really bother them, I put it underneath my clothes. So that's just me, but it really helps to hold in and support your torso. Sometimes, you know, you don't have any idea when you're going to cough or you're going to sneeze, and just having that compression on your belly and holding everything in, because the first few days it really feels like everything's just, you know, pouring out in front, and you really just want that support to hold it in the belly band. Really helped. I never sleep in it at night. I always take it off, and I take it off for certain times during the day, but a lot of the times I do wear it for support, especially if I'm going to be walking. Another thing about coughing is that if you're riding in a car, especially if you're sitting under a fan or air conditioning, sometimes it dries you out, and all of a sudden you have to cough, and normally you wouldn't have noticed it before, but right now it's like, oh my goodness, I'm going to cough. Oh no, you know, and so you end up, you know, grabbing your belly and trying to cough and trying not to, and it's like, you know, if you just have like a few cough drops or sugar-free cough drops around, and you're going to be in an airy area, it might help to keep you lubricated so that that doesn't happen. I order Zollipops through Amazon, and they are, I believe they're sweetened with xylitol, so you definitely don't want your pets to get a hold of them, but they are really good. They're good for your teeth. They are sugar-free. They're like 0 calories, and so I like to suck on those once in a while, and that kind of like, you know, helps to keep your throat lubricated so that you don't cough. Okay, also the belly band, I wasn't sure if I should have got it in a size that was like 1 or 2 sizes bigger because my belly is swollen right now. And so what I found out is that it actually stretches as you use it. So I'm glad I actually bought it in my size because it's actually getting a little bigger as I use it, and it gets a little more worn. So I think if I would have bought it in a size that was too big for me, it would be really awkward now and I don't want to wrap it around like twice or something like that. So definitely buying it in my size was a good thing to do. Okay, supplements. Oh, I need to go get a supplement I want to show you. All right, so I want to take something that's going to kind of aid the healing of that feminine area, right? And the vaginal health. And there's nothing allowed to go into it right now, so you really can't. I have like an estradiol cream that's supposed to help regenerate that area, but that cannot go there for 8 weeks. Nothing is allowed in there, and so I found this. It's called Nouri Women's Health, and these are little capsules. It's probiotic and omegas. So this is for urinary tract health, vaginal health, advanced digestion, and immune health. It's plant-based with omega oils in it. It's got whole cranberry powder, and it's allergen-free. So they look like this, these little clear capsules, and so they have this oil in them and the powder in them, and they smell really good. But I take 1 of these per day, and I just kind of hope that that helps to build up the area from internally so that I can heal a little faster. I also take vitamin D3 and vitamin C and magnesium citrate, and that is so that my bowels can keep moving, because that's a big deal to me. Okay, now TMI, real big TMI, how it feels. All right, we're going to talk about that area for just a second, because people are going to be like, you know, how is it going to hurt? How is it going to feel? At first, I will have to say that the vaginal area for me, was very sore. It felt like, yes, like an open wound, and I'm pretty sure that's what it was. A lot has happened down there. I have to remember that, My uterus was like 3 times the size it was supposed to be, and it was full of hard fibroids that were causing all kinds of havoc, and everything that was taken out through the vaginal area. So I basically like gave birth to all of that, and so it probably roughed up the area. So that's why it was super duper sore, and now I can only describe it as it's quiet there. It's very quiet. It's no longer sore now at the end of this week. It is healing. It feels like it's healing, and it just wants to be left alone so that it can heal. Every night when I go to sleep, that getting all this rest and sleep helps so much, because I've noticed that every single day I feel better and better. There's a real noticeable change in healing every single day. So keep that going as much as possible. Not a lot of spotting. Some people, depending on what they're having done or the method of the hysterectomy, it's like they'll have more spotting and some people less. I really only had a little bit for the first couple days, and I really haven't seen much since then, so it's been okay. And I have to say, again, TMI, I did switch the underwear that I was using. So in one of the earlier videos, if you saw them, you saw that I had bought some large Fruit of the Loom mesh all cotton underwear, but they were like 2 times too big for me. Even being 2 times too big for me, they were still snug with all my swelling, that with even a mini pad on them, it was really keeping the air circulation from coming through. And I noticed I was feeling very rashy, and like maybe I was getting the beginnings of a UTI or something like that. And so I didn't want to end up with some sort of infection or anything. So what I did was I stopped using those underwear, and I basically just went back to my normal underwear, which were a lot smaller. They were thinner. They're very breezy, and they allow for a lot of air circulation. And I just went with that, and that just, I did some reading on, vaginal health and air circulation and keeping from getting infections, and air circulation really does help with that a lot. And I figured that would also help with the healing, rather than to cut off the air and keep things, warm and kind of things in a warm, moist environment. Things grow that you don't want to grow. So I think air circulation is, really helping a lot. And I feel better. I don't feel like I'm getting a UTI anymore. And I feel so much better. So anyway, that's just me. Okay, I have the pillow in the car in case I have to travel, and I keep it under my seatbelt. That was brilliant, although I've only traveled once this whole week, and it was just for a little while. Sleeping, as far as pillows go, sleeping. Now I want to tell you this because it happened to me. It might not happen to you. I try to sleep on my back. I have a wedge pillow that I sleep on, right? But you really can't help what you do when you sleep, and while you're healing, different things happen. So maybe you might feel a little better, so you feel like moving. I felt like moving last night. I normally sleep on my tummy, so I turned around and I was sleeping on my tummy, but I have to tell you, the pain of that woke me up, and I flipped over right on my back again, and it took about an hour before that pain went away. So I definitely don't want to sleep on my tummy. So what I'm going to be doing is putting a pillow on one side and on the other side to help prevent me from rolling over on my tummy while I'm sleeping, so that I don't end up doing that again. And another thing is that I've found out is wearing a nice thick enough PJ up around your incisions area can help, because once they start to itch, and you're scratching in your sleep. Yesterday I woke up and I was scratching very hard on one of the incision areas, and because it was itching. And if I didn't have a PJ that was thick enough on, I would have probably scratched off the glue and really hurt myself. So covering that up really can help too. You do some weird, wacky things when you're sleeping. Have I noticed any changes so far? you know, I mentioned that I have IC, interstitial cystitis, and one of the problems that I was having was my fibroids I had 7 fibroids, and then one of them was so large that it was actually pushing on my bladder. So I was going to the bathroom a lot. I had urinary frequency. I always had this feeling of fullness in my tummy area. This whole pelvic area just felt full, and it always felt like at any moment, I mean, there was just like no time from the time that you had to go to the bathroom to when you had to be there. The urgency was crazy, and it was getting worse. So I felt like whatever it was had grown, and it was just really affecting, it would even affect the stream when I went to the bathroom. And so now I noticed that it's different. Even though I'm still swollen and healing, I have noticed I can, TMI, but I hold it longer. I can go longer times, and the stream is different. It's just like, before, I don't know how to describe it, but it's like I feel like I'm a normal person now, where I used to be when I was a lot younger. And then as my fibroids grew, it was different. It was just different, and so I'm grateful for that. I think that once the fullness of the belly from all the swelling goes down, I think I'm going to enjoy feeling like a normal person in that area. So yeah, that's changed. Shopping, I'm relying a lot on online orders, and I prepared a lot ahead for, you know, canned goods and things like that, so that the guys can just go to the pantry and grab a bunch of stuff. And then I already mentioned before, I think in my last video, I don't know how I would have made it without my friend who made us like a week of meals. We're still eating them, and she was absolutely awesome to do that. She will never know how much she helped us. And so a big thank you from all of us. We're thinking, what can we do for her to show her how much that we've appreciated that. So if anybody can make a meal for you during this time just to help out, stick it in the freezer or the refrigerator beforehand, it really, really helps out. And if you have a friend who's going through this, just know that if you make them a meal, it will not be wasted. It will be very, very much appreciated, because standing there and cooking is just not an option. Gathering things and putting them together, and if they have a family, it's not even an option. It really does help a lot to send a meal to somebody, you know what I mean? And I've had people say, well, let me know if you want me to send you a meal, I will do that. And I'm actually never going to ask anybody that. I'm not going to ask somebody, you know, for a meal, but if they just go ahead and take the initiative and do it, trust me, it's completely appreciated 100%. And I think that most people are like that. They probably won't ask somebody, hey, can you make me some meals? But nobody's gonna, I really don't. They'd have to be messed up in their mind to turn that kind of help down, because you really do need it during this time. So anyway, so that's my update. I've kept you long enough. Let me know if you have any questions. I think what I'm going to do is probably, unless something drastic happens, I will do another update after 2 weeks. At the 2-week point, I'm going to be talking to my doctor. I'm going to check in with him, and I hope he has the pathology report at that time so I could find out what all he found in there. So, and then I'll share that with you guys. Okay, so in the meantime, I'm going to do my best to rest up this week and continue healing. Love you guys a lot, and I'll see you in another video. Bye.